Hello and welcome, this is Marisol, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to bind a traveler's notebook. I recently filmed a video of this traveler's notebook, and one of my viewers had a question on how I bound it. And I thought, well, if she had questions, maybe some other people have questions, so I thought I would just go ahead and show you guys how I binded this notebook. The notebook was originally this thick, and I knew that it was going to be too thick for my project. So I took it apart simply by using this pokey tool and lifting up the staples and then removing the pages. I kept the pages in order because they're not exactly all the same size. When you fold a piece of paper, it shortens a little bit, and the ones on the top, I guess you could say, are shorter than the others. I don't know if that makes sense, you guys, but I'll explain it a little bit better later. Anyhow, I kept the pages in order after I removed them, so I didn't have to worry about trimming them down. And then I created the project, and then I used this stretch lace, which is also called elastic cord. This here is from the dollar store, and it is very cheap, but it did the job. And I had it in my stash, so I thought, why not use it? So I used a needle with some elastic cording on it to bind my notebook. Now, what you'll need is a book to open it up and put your notebook in. This is another notebook that I created using patterned paper. I'll flip through that real quick for you guys. Okay, so open up your book to the middle, then open up your traveler's notebook and make sure all your pages are even on all three sides, and then use a couple clips to keep it together like this. You could also do it on the bottom if you wanted, like that. Open up your notebook and then use the pokey tool to punch through all of your pages. Now, what you'll notice is that the stapler left two of the little holes. I'm just going to poke the hole through all the pages on the top hole there, and then the one on the bottom here. Sorry, I'm not in frame. Like that, because I want my binding, my cord, to cover up those other two holes. I don't want to poke my needle through those two holes. So then you simply take the needle, pull it through. It does require a little bit of strength, maybe a lot of strength. I would recommend a needle that has a thin eye. My needle actually has a very thick eye, and I think that's making it harder to poke through all of this paper. Okay, you don't want that to happen. My binding came right through. And then, so I did this backwards because I wanted this knot on the inside. And then you simply take it and knot it. Remove your needle and then create a knot. Now, you'll want to also make sure that you have enough of the cord. My cord seems to be a little short for my binding here. And just create a knot. And there you have a bound DIY traveler's notebook. So, I mean, you could decide if you want the not to be on the inside or on the outside. Now that I think about it, if you're going to put this in a cover, you might want to have the knot on the outside, because once you put it inside of the notebook cover, you're not going to see that knot anyway. So, but when you open up the notebook, you're going to see the cording. So that makes actually more sense. So that is how I bind my traveler's notebooks. Okay, while I'm here, what I'm going to show you is another way to bind your notebook. If you don't have any elastic cording and you want to bind your notebook with a stapler, you could do that. So here's another notebook that I created with this cover that I'm going to toss because it's just not going to work. So this is another notebook I created with patterned paper. And I might give this to one of my sister-in-laws. So there's that. Alright, and then what you can do is you can use a regular stapler and open it up like that, and then make sure that you clip your notebook so that your pages stay where you want them. Flip over your notebook so that the cover is facing you. And I'm going to turn it just to make it easier for me. Then take your stapler, put it right over the crease there, and staple it down. You could use a mouse pad, you could use a large eraser also underneath the notebook instead of a book. You could use, what else, maybe a magic eraser that you can put underneath, and then turn it over and simply bring down your staples. I prefer using the elastic cord over the staples, and I'll tell you why. If you notice, my stapler, when I stapled, I got it right on the binding here, in the middle of the book rather, but not up here. And that has happened to me more than once. So then when I go to close it, you'll see that my staple is not right in the crease of my cover. So I prefer to use the elastic cord when I am binding my notebooks. Another thing I want to show you is how to add specialty pages in your notebook. For this notebook, I added a page protector, which was sized 6x8 in the 2x2 format. I also added vellum and a little tag with patterned paper on it. So that is super easy to do. And I will show you how I do it. This is the page protector, and hopefully you can see the format, right? It's 6x8 and it has a 2x2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim down the patterned paper, or the page protector, and remove the part that has the holes in it, okay? Make sure that when you trim this down, you are cutting on the right side of the fuse, okay? So that your pockets are still completely closed. And then I take the page protector and I fold it in half. Then I add it inside of my notebook. And that's it. Now, what you can do is you can trim it down. Let's say I only want 4 pockets. I can just trim this off, right, staying on the right side of the fuse so that my pocket stays closed, and then I have room for the 4. And this gives you a lot of real estate in a traveler's notebook because you have the 4, well, the 6 here, the 6 pockets there, and then the same thing over here. So it's a really nice way of adding extra space into your traveler's notebook, and it gives it a different, different size variety as well. Now, the one thing I will say with the when you add specialty pages to your notebook is that when you're binding it, make sure that you're catching the specialty pages in your binding as well. So if you have a smaller page, a specialty page, you want to make sure that you're getting, you're catching the specialty page with your binding. And then with vellum, the same thing. Just trim down your vellum and then add it in, fold it and add it in wherever you want into your notebook. That's one of the advantages of taking a notebook apart and creating your own, because you can add these specialty pages to it. I think that I covered everything. If you do have any questions, please just let me know and I will definitely get back to you. In the description box below, I will add in the link for the video walkthrough of this notebook in case you haven't seen that yet. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.